we were all brought up, I want to say almost indoctrinated to believe that globalization is a unmixed blessing. It is, all the solutions of the world are there. There will be comparative efficiencies which will make themselves felt. Everybody would be happy. The goods will be available at a cheaper rate. So, it's all moving towards a, if not happy ending, at least a happier existence. Now, the reality, the COVID taught us, was actually the problems of when you are not Atmanirbhar. When you are dependent on your basics, on sources which are beyond your national control, which in times of crisis or which in times of their choosing can cut you off at will. And, when COVID unfolded in 2020, obviously as a foreign minister and in my own ministry, our primary task, through 20 and 21, a lot of our time went to how to use our international relationships to help, to contribute to the COVID effort. So we were, in a sense, a big procurement or a big facilitative agency for the government to actually get materials from outside. And, what a revelation it was that there were only 2 companies in India which were making N95 masks, and even that they were importing the valves from outside. That there were only 2 companies in India which were making ventilators, and even that not wholly in India. That for basic drugs, our API sources were outside the country. So it brought home both the concern that at times of stress, we were utterly vulnerable to other people's decisions and choices. But it also brought home the deeper worry that that vulnerability can be weaponized against us. So, and in that sense, it's actually not being Atmanirbhar becomes a kind of national security vulnerability for us. So, I do think today that a large populous society like India needs to have basic capacities. In this day and age, it's obvious that everybody cannot make everything. Even large countries cannot make everything. There are supply chains. All those are undeniable facts. But the idea that we can live on the goodwill of others, that the just-in-time philosophy will work, I think that is today fundamentally challengeable. And what you see in the world today, people will admit it or not, actually large parts of the world are nationally or collectively moving to a just-in-case scenario. That you hear in Europe today saying, I'm not going to be dependent on Asia or China. You hear in, leave our own conversations, you hear it in America as well, when they talk about concerns of the middle class and the hollowing out of manufacturing. And that is today, to my mind, a central part of Atmanirbhar Bharat. That how do we build those capacities? It's, again, if you were to look back at the last 30 years, since the 92 reforms, our growth and our employment, the trajectories were not congruent, were not even similar. There were big gaps out there. Because in many sectors, we actually got growth without the accompanying employment benefits, because often we did not develop the supply chains domestically to actually support the areas of growth. And I think today that is a very important lesson that we have learned, that in our external engagement, again, I repeat to you, we are not protectionists. We believe the world is an opportunity. We think it's a great market. We think it's a great resource source. But we have to engage it with enough capacities at home so that we are secure and we get full value of our external engagements. And while I'm speaking to you about manufacturing, I think to a large extent this also applies to data. We cannot be agnostic anymore where our data resides. Because where it resides, under what conditions, what firewalls, who has access, I think today that is hugely important. I don't know about you, but I would be very uncomfortable having my personal data in some places in the global geography. I think that too is a debate. It may be a debate for the IT industry, but it is a debate also, because we are a very digitized society today. So telecom, for example, the whole 5G debate is today again very much a Atmanirbhar debate. That, why is it so hard for our country to actually develop a 5G system? And fortunately, I have to tell you, that has been a push on the part of the government, and I'm very hopeful that we will come up with effective solutions, Indian solutions, to the 5G requirement.